Hey folks, this is Tom from VermiBag. Today I want to do a quick video and just do a harvest on a Vermi Mini that I have that's ready. This is one of the earlier prototype bags, so the harvest area here is a little bit smaller. On the newer bags I actually shortened the length of the bag and moved the zipper up into this area here, making it a little bit wider. But it functions exactly the same. So I'll just show you how simple it is. Few minutes, we'll see how many worms we have in it. The first thing you want to do is just open the zipper slowly and see what it's like inside as far as compost. Are you going to be able to open up all the way without having a big chunk coming out, because there's always going to be some down here in the very bottom of this thing that's settled down. I could feel it right now. Now the bottom here, I'll just scoop out what's in the bottom. Right there, that's what I was talking about before. Let me zoom in. So you can see the very bottom that I opened up, there's a few worms in here. Not an awful lot. And you can always expect some worms here in the very bottom. There'll be some that hang out in there no matter what. They'll be along the edge of this and up by the zipper on the lid itself. But as soon as you start going up into the bag, as long as you have depth on the system. Now if you only have a system, you only have 18 inches of material in the system, there's going to be a lot more worms down here because they don't have the depth to get away from the finished compost. So you really want to have more than 18 inches of material in this bag before you harvest. So it's not just a time thing. You got about 4 months before you get the first harvest. But you also need that depth, otherwise you're going to have a lot more worms down here than you want. And the worms will normally concentrate in about the top 12 inches of the material. So let's go ahead and dig up in here and just see what the material's like. Second scoop, you can see there's still a few worms in there. Nothing major, real nice finished compost. And again, right now I'm just right here at this, right around the edge of this lid, or this liner. Now I got smart too doing this. I have a little bucket full of water right next to me here, and also a paper towel where I can wash my hands off. I made the mistake here a while back of doing this, and then as I got in the midst of harvesting, I took my dirty hand and just stuck it right on the side of the bag, so I ended up having to clean that off. So it's a good idea to have some water here. And you can hang on to the liner here to keep the bag from swaying. If you take one hand and just hold the liner and pull down, it'll stiffen up the bag versus sticking your hand on the outside of it. And that's probably as far as I want to go. I'm going to take the liner, actually, the panel itself, just invert it inside out, and then just kind of knock all the compost and dirt that's on it. Invert it back. Now I'm going to, at this point right now, I'm just going to wipe my hands off real fast as I zip the harvest panel back up, just where I don't get dirt absolutely everywhere. Much better with clean hands. Then just pull the panel back around, tuck the liner in, and zip it closed. Now you have a void here. This whole bottom is empty. In order to get that to fill back in, just push along the side of the bag, on one side and on the front. Now it's full again right here. Now, I'm not going to have as great a results on here too. I mean, exactly what I was telling you not to do, I've kind of done on this bag. Wasn't that full, so there's definitely more worms in here than I want. But I'll do a quick sifting on them and put them back. But to avoid that, if I just ran the system a little bit longer and had more volume in it, like I said, had a good 18 inches plus of depth in the system, you're not going to get nearly as many worms when you harvest these things. Okay, now that I got the castings out of the bag, the next step I do is to take the castings, put them in this little screen I have made, and I'll screen the material through this, and the finished product will end up in here. And then I'll put them over there in that stack of bins that I have and let them sit for a couple months, and then eventually do one final separation on them. So I'll set this up and show you how quick and easy it is. Okay, I just go through this, Take a couple handfuls, put it in there. You can see there. And there's a few worms in there. Again, I think a lot of that's because the system was pretty shallow. But I'm just going to take this tray now and just dump it right back into the bin that came from. So this is what it looks like after you get done with the first screening. The 1/8 inch screen does a really good job. Makes it really nice material. I don't see an awful lot of worms in here. I mean, just glancing at it, I see occasional worms here and there. And I see cocoons here and there too. But as always, once I do the second separation on this, I'll be amazed at how many worms are actually in here, especially when you let it sit a couple months and all these cocoons that are in here will hatch. So I'm going to level this thing out, stick it over on the stack of my casting stack of trays just like this. And they sit tight on top of each other, so the moisture, I've never had an issue with moisture. They pretty much retain the moisture. And then I'll come back in a month to 2 months and I'll do a second separation on this before I finally use the castings. So, till next time, this is Tom from VermiBag. Ciao.